Hello and welcome to Organic Cardboard. My name is Owen Kneep, and today I would like to give my first impressions of my first playthrough of Beast. So Beast is a hidden movement game that was created by a new game designing company called Studio Midhall that consists of two brothers, Aaron and Elon Midhall, and their cousin, I guess, is Asar Peterson. But Aaron Midhall has actually done all of the artwork for this game, and this artwork is some of the best artwork that I've seen in quite some time for a game. This is some of the most drawing, some of the best artwork for really drawing you into the theme of what this game is doing. Because what you are doing in Beast, first off, I'm not going to go into too much depth of a huge overview of this game. This is just going to be a quick first impression, but the general idea of Beast is that you have a one versus many mechanic that's going on, and one person is going to be playing this beast, this overarching, like, big bad monster that's running around and trying to take out settlers and livestock, and otherwise is kind of terrorizing this land from the point of view of the heroes, the humans. So the other player then is going to be playing, if you're playing a two-player game, they're going to take the place of basically two players. So anytime you're playing the game, you're kind of essentially playing a three-player game. But a two-player game, you're going to take two heroes, and then in a three-player game, you'll still take two heroes, but each person will control one of each, and then the four-player can go up all the way to having three heroes against this one beast. But this beast is trying to accomplish a goal that is directed from a scenario. They call it a contract, and so every time you're starting a new game out, you're going to have a contract that you are choosing, and the game, the initial setup of this core game, this is the first iteration of Beast. There's four scenarios. There's two to three player scenarios and two 4-player scenarios. But the base one that most people are going to start with, and most people are going to be probably playing, I would say the majority, like what the game feels like it's supposed to be doing, is going to consist of the Beast trying to kill out two settlers. You've got three settlements within this land area, and you have all these habitats, all these little circles with habitat spaces on them, little icons. And your monster has abilities that tend to affect one particular type of habitat, so they'll often try to transform their land into the type of habitat that they can move through more easily, and they can summon these little mini bad guys to help them out and do their damage. So in this first game, I was playing the Raga, however you say it. So this Raga was it's called the Oracle of the Abyss, and it's themed around this kind of Hydra character that's slipping in and around the swamps. This big, I don't know, it almost has like a dinosaur-like look to it a little bit. And some creepy, main head that's got all these like little arms with hands on it, I guess, just to make it look extra goofy, but also a little creepy too. But the Raga is able to sneak around into these swamp areas, and my goal again was to try to kill out two settlers, so I had to get to two different settlements. And the whole time I'm doing this, anytime I have movement that's going on, anytime I'm moving from one location to another, it's always hidden. So I'll pop up in an area every time I attack somewhere, if I attack a livestock or I attack a settler or I attack a hero. And then the heroes have to try to kind of play whack-a-mole and hit me as soon as I pop up. They're going to have abilities that are going to allow them to kind of search areas. If they think that I'm in an area, they can cause me to be revealed into it. And then they have, of course, their attacks and things that they can do as well. And they're also going to pick up tracks. Anytime they move over an area that I've been at, they're going to see all these little spaces that this Raga's been moving through, so they can kind of zero in on where I'm at. However, even if the hero player or players know exactly where you're at, you will still remain hidden until you are either searched or you attack yourself. Not attack yourself, but you yourself as the monster attacks something. And then, so that's only at that point that they can actually hit you. And that misunderstanding of the game, or we didn't really know the rules really well this first playthrough. And that was one of the only things that saved me at the end, because even though it was kind of known, but it was easily forgotten in this first playthrough, I was not able to be focused on at the very end of the game. And it came down to this really tight scenario where we had 1 point each, essentially, of damage that needed to be dealt. I just needed to hit the settlers for 1 more point of damage, and I could only have taken 1 more point of damage. And the game's tight with combat, because normally anytime you attack or get attacked, it's usually only 4/1 damage. This particular monster had 5 health. Some of them have 5, some of them have 4. And then the heroes have a certain amount of health, but they'll actually come back during the night phase, and you only have so many cards that you're playing with too, and so you get really limited on what all you can do in a particular round. So I didn't really want to attack the heroes very much. I bypassed a lot of the strategy that could have been taken advantage of in the game, because there's a lot of ways for you to gain this grudge currency. The grudges is kind of like hatred that you develop, either hatred of the heroes from the monster's point of perspective, or from the hero's perspective towards the monster. They both are going to gain these grudges, and these grudges are, again, essentially currency, upgrading currency that you can use during the night phase. And the monster would have picked a lot of that up if as the monster, I went around and killed a lot of livestock, but I didn't really focus on that. I focused on stopping the first night rewards for the hero player. And by doing that, I had to go kill a settler really quickly, which meant that I had to get beat up on quite a bit. So I just had a little bit of health after that first round. And we actually only went through about half of the rounds that this game would have gone through. So this first scenario, you could go through 3 days, and each day is basically a round. You have a dawn phase, a day phase, and a night phase on each one of these rounds. And if at the end of the night phase of the third round, if I hadn't killed 2 settlers, then I would have lost. So you can't just kind of goof around and just try to beef your character up. You have to keep in mind that you're limited. All your actions are coming from cards. You've only got 8 cards in hand. Some of your turns you might be spending 2 cards as well. So you really run out of your hand pretty quick, and you have to be really judicial about how often you're playing a card down. Because the heroes all have their own hands as well, and you definitely don't want to run out of cards before the heroes do as the monster, because then that just leaves you open to be bashed on pretty strongly. But there are opportunities for the heroes to pick up items, and the beasts can pick up talents to beef themselves up with. And so I didn't really take advantage of too much of that, though. Again, my strategy got pretty fast. I went straight to 1 settler. My movement, my place, like where I was at on the board, was pretty much well known the entirety of the game. So I really wasn't hidden very much at all. Ashley, who I played with, she knew exactly where I was going every time I went, and if she didn't, she had a character's ability that she was playing too that would show the last known location of movement. And so she was always finding exactly where I was at, even if I wasn't revealed, she pretty much knew where I was at on the board at any one time. But even with that, there wasn't very fortunate draws for her from item cards that could have helped her out a lot. And I was able to sneak around and get just enough damage and avoid just enough damage to win. I didn't think I was going to win at the end, so I thought I thought I lost 2 rounds or 2 turns before the end, but somehow I was able to luckily squeak by with a victory. But so going back to just the general first impressions of this game, I have not been able to stop thinking about this game. I think that there is so much that left to explore in it. So Ashley only did like one upgrade on her heroes. All of her heroes all had like 4 different upgrades they could have gotten. My beast had a couple. I think I took advantage of a few. There were about 4 different ones that I didn't take advantage of yet, though. On that, there's 5 other monsters that I would like to play with. But man, it was fun though. The my particular beast that I got here was probably the most like benign of the other ones. After I looked through the other ones after playing this first game and knowing how the mechanics worked, I looked and saw what the powers were of the other monsters, and I'm thinking like, oh, this is probably the easiest one to play against. Maybe I'm wrong, but with this Raga, I did take advantage of the little summons that they used, and so these summons were able to actually do the final hit for me. As Ashley was focusing on trying to kill me, I was able to sneak one of these guys into the town. Not really sneak because they're always on the board, but I was able to get around and get to the town to get that final damage with one of my summons. And so the other monsters have all these other strong, what I can think are stronger summon abilities than what mine was. But either way, it was a ton of fun. Really enjoyed it. It was really tight. It was nail biting at the end. And again, I can't wait to get this back on the table, to get a couple more playthroughs before I can really give this a real rating. But my initial impressions are 2 thumbs up. Really enjoy it. And I can't wait to get it back on the table. So I think we will have a couple more playthroughs before I'll do a full, more in-depth review of this. And I believe I'll be doing the bigger review with Sean over at Pecktec Games. So keep an eye out for that. But otherwise, if you enjoy this kind of content, you can always give a couple of those free clicks on the screen. It really helps support channels like mine, and I do really appreciate it if you do. But otherwise, I hope you guys are getting your Beast games in. If you did order it off Kickstarter, I hope they're coming in and that you're getting to enjoy them. But if you haven't gotten the game in yet, or if you just didn't order it, I hope this builds a little bit of anticipation and excitement towards what this game is offering, because I think it's really cool. But any length, keep an eye out for those other review videos. But until next time, I hope you guys, again, enjoying your games and are having a great time. Thanks so much for stopping by today. Until next time, take care.